Hello friends, I am Partharthi Virda and welcome to Quality Excellence Hub channel. If you are the first time viewer, then please subscribe to my channel. You can click on the bell icon so that you will receive notifications of my future video uploads. You can like my videos, you can share my videos, you can comment on my videos, and you can share the link of my channel to your groups and friends so that they will also get advantage to join our family and enhance their knowledge. Today we are going to discuss on how to calculate process capability, which is CP and CPK. CP is nothing but process capability ratio and CPK is nothing but process capability index. This will be our learning sequence. What is customer specification? What are specification limits? What is process spread, standard deviation and X double bar calculation, calculation of CP, graphical interpretation of CP, from CP to CPK, why we need CPK, calculation of CPK, graphical interpretation of CPK, graphical interpretation of CPK greater than 1, and CP versus CPK. So now let us know what is customer specification. If there is any customer, all the customers will have their customer specific requirements, and that requirements will be in the form of customer specifications. Now let us take one example. Suppose if we take a hypothetical example of customer XYZ, he wants metal rings with 33 mm outer diameter, and what is the specification requirements? 33 plus or minus 0.2 mm. So if we see here, this is the customer, this is customer's requirement, and this is the specification which is required by that customer for this particular product. So I think now the customer specification part is clear to you. Now let us know what are specification limits. If we see here, what the example which we have taken, in that outer diameter requirement is 33 mm plus or minus 0.2 mm. So in this case, the lower specification limit will be 33 mm minus 0.2 mm, which will be 32.8 mm, and in the similar manner upper specification limit will be 33 mm plus 0.2 mm, which is 33.2 mm, and this 33 will be considered as nominal value or mean or target value. If we see this in graphical form, then you can see here, if we consider this x-axis as diameter, outer diameter, this is LSL, lower specification limit, for us it is 32.80. This is upper specification limit, which is 33.20, and this is nominal value or mean or average or target line, which is 33 for us. So now let us know what is process spread or width. You can see here, this is the x-axis, this is lower specification limit, this is upper specification limit, this is target or mean, or we also call it X double bar. Now this USL minus LSL, so this width is known as voice of customer or the requirement of customer, and which is USL minus LSL. If you see this width will be USL minus LSL, and this is our process width, which is also known as voice of process, and which is normally plus or minus 3 sigma from target value. If this is the target value, this side it will be minus 3 sigma, and on this side it will be plus 3 sigma. So this is our process spread or process width. It is also known as voice of process, and it is 6 sigma, means minus 3 sigma on this side and plus 3 sigma on the upper side. Now let us calculate standard deviation and x double bar based on our specification. So our specification is 33 plus or minus 0.2. You can see here the data is plotted here. These are total 25 subgroups here and 5 readings in each subgroup. So overall 125 readings are here, and you can see these are the average of all 25 subgroups, and this is the range. Range means maximum of these 5 readings minus minimum of these 5 readings. So this is the range of this particular subgroup. Likewise, there are 25 ranges of each subgroups. And what is this? This is average of averages, means there are 25 averages of 25 subgroups here, and this is nothing but average of all these 25 averages. So this is known as x double bar, average of averages. And what is average of ranges, which is r bar, is the average of all these 25 ranges. It is 0.1, and x double bar is 32.88. And this is the constant D2. You can find this in the constant table. If we take 5 subgroup size, then the constant which we have to consider is 2.326 D2, which we will need in calculation of sigma. So I have taken here as D2, and this is for 5 subgroup size. So this our 5 samples are there in one subgroup. So based on that, this is considered. So you can see here, if you want to calculate standard deviation, the definition of standard deviation is r bar. R bar is nothing but average of ranges divided by constant D2. So r bar is 0.1 upon D2 is 2.326. So our standard deviation or sigma is 0.042. So this is our standard deviation, and this is our x double bar, which we will further need for calculating process capability. Now let us see how to calculate process capability ratio, which is CP. The formula of CP is USL minus LSL upon 6 sigma. So what is USL minus LSL? We have already seen this in our previous slide. That is nothing but voice of customer. And 6 sigma. Sigma we have already calculated, right? And it is also known as voice of process. So CP is nothing but voice of customer divided by voice of process, and in the terms of formula, it is USL minus LSL upon 6 sigma. So we know our USL, it is 33.20 minus LSL is 32.80 divided by 6 into sigma. Sigma is our sigma is 0.042. So this calculation will be 1.58, which is nothing but our process capability ratio, which is known as CP. And higher CP is better. If this figure is higher, that is better. That is, when CP increases, process spread decreases, means the width of our process will decrease. So that is better. It is good. So all the parts will be produced within the specification limits. And when CP is equal to 1, means voice of customer and voice of process is having same width, means numerator and denominator are same, means USL minus LSL and 6 sigma, both the value are same. So CP is equal to 1, and the voice of customer and voice of process having the same width. Now let us see some graphical interpretation of CP. You can see here this width of process and width of customer voice is same here, right? Means USL minus LSL, this and this is same. What does it mean? If numerator and denominator is same, then CP will be 1 because numerator and denominator are same value. So with the help of sketch only we'll be able to know the value of CP. In the similar manner, if we see here, this is our USL minus LSL. This is the customer voice of customer. So width of this is less than width of our process. It means that we will produce some non-conforming parts here, which is not good, right? So if we see here, USL minus LSL is less than 6 sigma. 6 sigma is nothing but our process width. So you can see here our process width is more than our specification width. It means that we will produce some bad parts which will not be acceptable by customer. So in this case CP will be less than 1 because our numerator is less than denominator. In the third case, you can see here that the specific USL minus LSL is much more greater than the width of our process. What does it mean? That you can see here numerator is on higher side and denominator is less. What does it mean? That the CP value will be greater than 1. So if the value of CP is higher, your process spread will be less and you will be able to deliver good product to the customer with good confidence because it will not cross your specification limits. Now let us know why we need CPK. If we are already calculating CP, that is process capability ratio, then why we need CPK? You can see here there are 5 different scenarios, and for each scenario you can see CP is equal to 2. You can see here USL minus LSL, this width, if we consider this as double, then this is the half of that. Means if we consider this as 2 and this process width as 1, then your CP will be 2. So the process width and the specification width is same for all the 5 incidences. So what does it mean? CP is same for all the 5 cases. So do you feel for all these 5 cases our CP is giving the right picture of your process with respect to the process specification? The answer is no, because you can see here CP is equal to 2, but still process is manufacturing 50% of the product which are out of the specification, which are below lower specification limit, but still your CP is 2. So it is not showing the right picture of your process with respect to the specification. That is why CPK comes into the picture. And what is CPK? It is nothing but the centeredness of CP, or the centeredness of the process mean. What does it mean? How far is your process mean with respect to your target line or center line? So CP or process capability ratio is related to the spread of your process, and CPK, which is process capability index, that is related to the centeredness of your process with respect to the center, where your process is lying with respect to the center. So this is the difference between CP and CPK, and CP is not giving the right picture, and that is why CPK comes into the picture. Now let us understand how to calculate process capability index, which is CPK. Before that, let us go through this sketch. For idle situation, if you see, your CPK will be maximum if your process mean is lying on the target line. And when it is lying on the target line, it divides this process specification into two parts, where one is X double bar minus LSL, this is the left part, and the second is USL minus X double bar. So this is the right part. You can say this is the left side and this is the right side, or you can say this is the lower specification side and this is the higher specification or upper specification side. So here we have bifurcated into two parts, so we will calculate capability also into two parts. One is capability on lower side and second is capability on upper side. So what is the formula of that? The concept of the formula is same like CP. This is the voice of customer upon process width. Here, as we have bifurcated with respect to process mean, the formula will be X double bar minus LSL upon 3 sigma. Because our process width total was 6 sigma, so left side it will be 3 sigma and right side it will be 3 sigma. So this is the formula of CPL. Accordingly, on the right side, formula of CPU will be USL minus X double bar upon 3 sigma. So we have divided capability also into two parts. And what will be your CPK? CPK will be minimum of CPU and CPL. Whatever the minimum figure is, that will be your CPK. So now let us calculate both capabilities. CPL is equal to, we have already calculated our X double bar, that is 32.88, minus our LSL was 32.80 divided by 3 sigma, that is 3 into our sigma is 0.042. So if we calculate this, then our CPL will be 0.63. Similarly, if we calculate CPU, it will be 2.54. And the minimum of CPL and CPU is 0.63. And why we consider minimum of CPL and CPU? Because see, whatever is nearer to your process, that will be critical, and we need to focus on whatever is critical. So minimum will be critical. That is the reason why CPK is considered as minimum of CPL and CPU. You can see here our CPK is 0.63, and that is CPL. What does it mean? CPL is the lower capability. What does it mean? That our process mean is lying somewhat on the left side and nearer to lower specification limit. So that is the reason why it is considered as CPK. I hope it is clear now. Now let us understand CPK graphically and let us interpret it. You can see here the process mean is lying on the lower specification limit. It is overlapping. In this case, CPK will be 0. Why? You can see here 50% of the product which we manufacture are out of specification, below lower specification, right? So here CPK is considered as 0. CPK is equal to 0. In the second scenario, if you see here lower specification limit is this, and process mean is lying outside the lower specification, and in that case your CPK will be less than 0. Here it was 0 because it was overlapping on the lower specification limit, where your 50% of parts will be non-conforming parts, and here it is crossing the lower specification limit, so your CPK will be less than 0. It will be in negative form. And the third scenario is if your process mean is lying within the specification limit and between the target line and any of the specification limit. In that case, your CPK will be between 0 and 1. And some of the part of your process will be lying outside the either the lower specification limit, and in the similar case here also if it lies outside the upper specification limit. In both the cases your CPK will be between 0 to 1. Now let us see some scenarios where CPK will be greater than 1. You can see here the process mean is very well centered on the target line, and your process width is well within your specification limit. In this case, CPK will be greater than 1. The second scenario, the process mean is not overlapping on the target line. It is shifted towards LSL, but your process overall total process is lying within the specification limit. It is not going outside the specification limit. In this case also CPK will be greater than 1. And in the third scenario, it is the same on the upper side, means your process mean is lying between target line and upper specification limit, and your overall process is lying within the specification limit. In this case also your CPK will be considered as greater than 1. Now let us understand CP and CPK together in the form of graphical interpretation. Let us interpret it. So you can see here this is the target line, and if your process is very well centered, then your CP and CPK value will be same. You can see here in all the 4 cases. And whenever your process width is more, your CP and CPK will decrease. And you can see here your process width compared from this to this is less, so your CP and CPK has been improved. In the similar manner, if you go down, and here it is CP is equal to 2 and CPK is equal to 2. What does it mean? If the process is very well centered, then your CP and CPK will be same. The value of CP and CPK will be same. And what will be the value? It depends on the spread of your process. And if you see here in this row, here CP remains same in all the cases because process width is same for all the 3 cases, but CPK changes because CPK is related to the centeredness of the process. Here your CPK is maximum because your process is very well on the center line. Here it is within the specification. It is lying within the specification, so it is 1. And in this case, it is the process mean is on the lower specification limit. That is why CPK is 0. And further, if this process mean will go outside, then the CPK will be in negative form. So this is a graphical interpretation of CP and CPK. And let us refer some notes now. For the centered process, CP is equal to CPK. CP will always be greater than or equal to CPK. If CP is equal to CPK is equal to 1, then process is operating at the border lines. You can see in the previous slide, here CP is equal to CPK is equal to 1, means your specification width and your process width is same, and your process is running in boundary cases, right? And higher the CP and CPK value means higher the sigma level. If CP is equal to CPK is equal to 1, then it is said to be a 3 sigma level process. And if CP is equal to CPK is equal to 2, it is said to be a 6 sigma level process. Friends, I hope it is clear now what is CP and CPK and how to calculate CP and CPK, as well as how to interpret CP and CPK. For the first time viewer, I request to subscribe to my channel. If you have not click on the bell icon, you please click on the bell icon so that you will receive notifications of my future video uploads. You can like my videos, you can share my videos, you can comment on my videos, and you can share the link of my channel to your friends and groups so that they will also get advantage to join our family and enhance their knowledge. Thank you.